to Let's Play Gran Turismo 2, episode 46. Alrighty then. So in the previous episodes, now that we have officially completed both of our tuned car cups in this game, it is now time for us to head over to our penultimate event in the special events section. And that event is officially the GT All-Stars. And as for the car I'm going to use for this event, well, I've already decided on which car I want to use. If I can just find it. Here it is. The Dodge Copperhead LM Edition. And if you still think it says concept car, well, this car is realistically the Dodge Copperhead as the car I'm going to use, and since I know all the racing tyres are pretty much already installed to this machine, obviously I do not need to go and check the Dodge dealer for confirmation, because I'm fairly certain racing tyres are already fitted to this thing, and we only have 2 events to go, as there is only this and the GT500 Championship, and then from there we have officially completed all of the special events. So let's head to the GT All-Stars, as we have 5 races in this event, as we are going to Super Speedway, Special Stage Route 5, Red Rock Valley, the Rome full course, and also Laguna Seca for the finale. So, let us get on with race number 1 of the GT All-Stars. And I'm going to put on the racing softs, because I have a feeling I'm going to be struggling to control this thing, and just before the race launch appears, there is that as well. And we have the GT1 race event, but I'm going to shift up into 3rd gear just to minimise the wheel spin, and this could be a bit more of a challenge because we have the Toyota GT1 in this event. But hopefully, as long as I do not spin, as of which one thing I learned from my previous attempt of doing this is that, well, this car is very easy to lose control of, and also, surprisingly, I have now already manoeuvred myself straight up into the lead, as we also have a GT40 in this event as well. And what I learned, of course, from my previous attempt of doing this event is, well, this car is very difficult to control even on soft tyres, as I learned from my previous attempt, because, well, I basically fucked up as soon as I knew I ran wide in one of the corners at Red Rock. And also, the reason why I stopped my previous recording is, well, because I was disturbed. So, yeah. But anyways. And quite surprisingly, the GT1 is actually not battling me for the lead in this event. And I almost thought for certain he probably would be battling me for the lead if I figured he had the speed. Surprisingly, on this occasion, he currently does not. But meanwhile up at the front there is me and my silver rear-wanged copperhead. And still, I must admit, this is an impressive looking wang, there is no doubt about that. As I am now approaching the final corner, narrowly missing the wall, and not far off my quickest lap previously, but again, I still dominated that race. And surprisingly in this race, the field was actually pretty close because it was only about over 1.6 seconds between the GT1 and the TT for race number 1. So those AI probably had a pretty good scrap for second place, considering obviously the margins were very minimal. Also furthermore, that is a lot of money to win from a single race. 50 grand. And going to save this replay because I don't have many shots at Super Speedway either, or I basically just have one shot at Super Speedway basically, but yeah. There we go. 1 race down, 4 to go. As for our second race, we are heading over to Special Stage Route 5. And where, if I do not spin, and I am very likely to spin one of these rear-wheel drive cars, then I should be in the clear basically, but we'll just wait and see what happens. Because obviously, even with the best tyres on, this car is still very easy to spin if you upset it. Because if you upset this car, you've pretty much upset it big time, especially on the final lap. Because if you basically spin off the circuit and you end up facing the wrong way, there's virtually no recovery if it's on the final lap. At least in the normal events, there is no recovery. As I can see there, the TT is already being left in the dust, and also, I think that's an R390 in this event. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, correction, that's an Elise GT1, yeah. So we have an Audi TT in this event, along with a latest Elise GT1, a Celine SR wide body from this event. We also have another GT40 in this event, as I can tell even from back here. We also have a Calibra Super Touring car in this event as well. Whilst I can see the GT40 is the only car in front of me at the present time, and oh shit! Thank God. It's alright, we're fine. I got it back. I almost went into the wall, but I got it back just in time as the Celine is already closing in and currently behind the Calibra, as I am now back up into the lead. Sorry, up into second once again. Currently behind the GT40. Just try not to spin the thing. And managing to maintain pretty reasonable control of this thing now, in spite of that. In spite of that little glitch I had, or little blitz I had on the first lap where I almost spun the thing, but I am still crashing. But at the very least, I am managing to take the lead in this thing, and already it looks as though from this point onwards I will probably just waltz away with the win, unless I know the GT40 can keep up with me. And in which case he probably could do, if I knew he had the same tyres as me. He could very well do that, you know. Especially if I spin on the final lap, because one thing I have noticed in this game, like with GT1, is that even though you don't spin as dramatically, the spins in these races can still effectively cost you a potential shot at victory during a race, because essentially overall, if you spin on the final lap in one of these races, you basically spin big time, as well as also saying it's essentially that minor mistake that can effectively give you a race loss, as I have discovered in this game a couple of times. And it looks like everything is now under control up to this point in the event, whilst I, of course, am currently extending my lead over the GT40. And also, furthermore, these AI are starting to become bunched up again, whilst I know at the back it is probably the TT, as far as I know. Heading past the clock tower now, and heading through the hairpin now for the 4th time, and managing to just let go of the throttle a little bit there so I don't spin the thing on the curbs, as I have managed to successfully keep this car under control. And it looks like from here it may very well be another relatively easy W, as we now start our 5th and final lap at Special Stage Route 5. And did a little short shift there for good measure, and also short shifting there so I did not get too much wheel spin off the exit, or any wheel spin off the exit. And still keeping this thing under control without spinning it, and it looks like the field is pretty much close to one another. At least probably the 2nd and 3rd placed cars are. And we now head on to the straightaway for the 5th and final time here at Special Stage Route 5, as I'm scratching my head. And there we go. I did not spin the thing this time, and in the end I won by 5 seconds. So surprisingly, both the GT40 and the Celine managed to keep relatively close to me, if I'm being completely honest, and in the end it was the Lotus Elise that finished in last, Calibra 5th, Audi TT in 4th, then it was the Celine in 3rd, the GT40 in 2nd, and I was the clear winner after I overtook the GT40 on the 2nd lap. So, 2 relatively easy W's, and of course I'm now already 100 grand richer. So there we go. 2 races down, 3 to go, as we now head to Red Rock Valley, and where hopefully this time I will not fail under similar fashion to how I failed previously. And because there are 5 races in this event, obviously there are 2 pages. And I would imagine there will be a prototype in this event, and I don't know where he is unless he's at the front. And indeed, he is at the front. It is, of course, the GT1. The Toyota GT1 is at the front, as my very much astonishing acceleration is managing to help me up to the front, and thankfully no list of storms in these races so far, because that car is clearly one of the worst. Clearly the slowest, I should say. As I got into the gravel just a little bit there, but fortunately at least not spinning the thing on the first lap, because that too could be costly, especially considering we do have one of the prototypes in this event, as the Viper is trying to overtake me, but I disallow it, and overtaking the Celine now for second, as I'm now trying to catch up to the Toyota. So we have 2 DTM cars in this event. One IMSA car in this event, 1 Celine, and also 1 prototype in this event, which is basically the GT1. And we're heading through into the lead now, and I'm off in the gravel again. Come on, don't spin, don't spin, don't spin. Come on, please don't spin. Okay. Okay. I did not choke this time. In spite of me touching the gravel in literally the same fucking location once again. And that's a wall. So, we do have a challenger in this race now, and of course my Copperhead has eventually managed to win the battle against the GT1 with its very much supreme acceleration, even though the GT1 is coming back once again, since obviously the GT1 has the straight line speed. But because we have corners on this circuit, essentially overall that's basically the one thing that's currently keeping him from leading, as I won, as I am still continuing to run wide at that same fucking corner pretty much all the fucking time, but somehow still managing to hold my own against the GT1, as I now have a margin building. And yes, I did figure it was necessary for me to shift into 4th through the exit of the tunnel, as we are now onto lap number 4 here at Red Rock. And I'm going to assume that's a scoring pylon, unless those are floodlights. Yeah, okay, correction, those are floodlights. And this time I did not go as wide into the gravel as I have been doing the past 3 laps. Also, furthermore, the GT1 is actually managing to keep up with me relatively closely, because I've just been trying to control this thing. Just trying not to upset it, which can be very easy to do with rear-wheel drive cars, particularly this one, as I have discovered. And my lap times are currently in the 1 minute 8s, but as long as I do not spin this time, then I am perfectly fine with the circumstances I may be facing. As I now head through the first chicane, and this time managing to avoid the gravel trap and not spinning at the moment as I'm on the bankings, and managing to keep the thing under control at the present time. Just maintaining my margin to the GT1, who is also maintaining his margin to the third placed car, which I'm going to assume is probably the Celine, but again I don't know for sure. Whilst at the back I would assume that's probably the TT. Either the TT or the Calibra. But meanwhile, across the line I go, and it is 3 in a row, a hat trick. As in the end, I won that race by 3.4 seconds over the GT1, then it was the Viper in third, followed by the Celine in fourth, then the Calibra was in fifth, and in the end it was the Alpha 155 in last, by 14.5 seconds. Three races down, 2 to go. As I am now officially 150 grand richer. Considering from pretty much winning all 5 of these events, I'm basically winning 250 grand alone, pretty much. Just ignoring. Anyways, let's head to race number 4 in Rome, and where I of course will probably have the quickest chariot of them all, because grippy boys, also because acceleration. But yeah, the GT1 is once again in this event, and we also have the R390 in this event as well, along with the Vector M12, I think that's the XJ220 alongside the Viper on the front row, as already the Vector is moving up, and I of course am already starting to move up the order, and oh, that's a wall. Again, very easy to make contact with if you upset the car enough, whilst the Jag has already fallen down to 4th, and I made contact with the Vector, but somehow still managing to hold on to 3rd as I went on the defensive. And it is currently the Viper that is leading this event, ahead of the Vector M12, then it's myself, ahead of the Jaguar XJ220, and then at the back we have the GT1 with the R390. And, oh dicks, it's okay, it's okay, we're fine, everything's under control. I'm up into the lead, but still have the disadvantage in terms of speed. As I now officially solidify my first position. And it looks like the Viper is officially back up into 2nd position. And surprisingly, the prototypes at the moment are currently not in contention. Although, then again, considering this is a city course, that's more or less what I would have probably expected. But at the moment, the Chariot of Dodge is proving to be the fastest, as there is me in the Copperhead currently leading my fellow Dodge, which is the Viper GTSR. And I think I can probably take it easy from here, because I do have a relatively stable interval ahead of these AI, as it looks like the prototypes have now finally managed to close in. On the leading pack, even though obviously there is me at the front. To do everything properly at the present time as we head through the second of the two Colosseum corners. And heading down the back stretch. To the main straightaway now, as we are now officially 3 laps down, still 2 to go, as my lap time in sector 1 is pretty much dead on 9 seconds. And also, FYI, that is a wall. And I just made contact with the second wall. Again, running wide through the sharp right-hand turn, but still managing to keep this thing under my control. I still think I'm lucky that I'm managing to keep this thing under control. At the back, I'm probably going to assume that's the XJ220, but I could be wrong, as we are now starting the 5th and final lap. Across the city, which pretty much has the Chariots of Fire. And back end almost wanting to fucking fishtail me, but I do manage to catch it on the exit. And hopefully that will be the last time I get that close to a spin, even though it probably won't. Okay, 55.5. This could be adequate enough for a PB, as long as I don't touch the walls. This could be adequate. As I'm now heading across the line, and okay, I'll accept that. May not be the fastest lap, but it's still a good lap anyway, as I won that event by just under 5 seconds ahead of the Viper GTSR, who was second, then it was the GT1 in third. The Vector M12 LM edition was fourth, then it was the 97 R390 in fifth, and at the back it was the XJ220 GT race car. And furthermore, yes, this XJ220 was the race car model, not the normal model. As I am already 200 grand richer, I'm pretty much on my way to be 250,000 richer. Because, fucking hell, that is a lot of money from a single race. Let me tell you. As we now head to the fifth and final race of the GT All-Stars, as that is at Laguna Seca. Just keeping everything as it is, since I'm fairly confident I probably will be able to win this without too many issues, even though there probably will be some, but yeah. And so we have both the prototypes in this event along with the M12, and we also have the Calibra along with the GT40 also in this event. As I am officially starting to move up into 5th position as we head down the hill through the Andretti curve, which is basically the only other corner I know on the circuit besides the corkscrew. As we head under the Firestone Bridge and still managing to keep the thing straight. The GT40 currently leads the GT1. As I am stepping on the brakes. And heading up through the corkscrew now for the first time. It can be very easy to spin there. It has happened many times before and it probably will be likely to happen again through there at some point. As it's now going to be a drag race. But it looks like the GT40 has the inside line and I got a little loose on the exit. But still very much in the slipstream of the GT40. Whilst the GT1 is very much in my slipstream and running very wide there, but able to prevent the spin regardless. And the M12 has definitely caught up to us. Meanwhile at the back we still have the Calibra. The Vauxhall Calibra is currently at the back. Also known as the Opel Calibra if you are playing any other versions of this game besides the UK PAL version. Okay, well, almost 2 laps gone. This could be a potential challenge as I'm going through corkscrew in 4th and oh, it looks like the GT40 spun. Yep, I think the GT40 just spun on the exit of corkscrew, which I'm assuming is the only reason why I was able to take the lead. But he comes back again at me and forces me wide. The vicious blue bastard. As I do manage to take the lead in spite of me having pretty much wheel spin of hell on the exit of the Andretti curve, but able to get back under control and officially take the lead for the first time. Even though I did lead very briefly on the second lap, surprisingly, that was not what I would clarify as official, because the GT40 past me again through the final corner. It looks like at the moment this is very much a two-horse race, as the GT40 currently has the advantage over the M12, and then it is the two prototypes behind, followed by the DTM Calibra. As I now set a new PB. And now I can officially focus on extending the interval between me and the GT40, as it will appear as though as long as I do not spin this car, the GT All-Stars will officially be clarified as yet another clean sweep. Considering that's basically what I am doing. And entering the final corner now. Everything is officially under control. As I now start the fifth and final lap here at Laguna Seca. And it looks like as long as I do not spin on this final lap, then I have very much got this thing under control. So, heading through the final corner now here at Laguna Seca, as once again it is another clean sweep for me and my silver copperhead LM edition. And victory is now well and truly secure. And it looks like the GT1 in the end managed to pick the GT40 for third. Then it was the M12 in fourth, followed by the R390 in fifth, and at the back was the Calibra. As I won by just over 5 seconds, and that must have been a fairly close tussle between the Toyota GT1 and the Ford GT40. And money, 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 once again. And because the final race is now complete once again, obviously I'm going to save this game, because I need to. Also because I want to, but yeah. So, the GT All-Stars is now complete. And just for final confirmation, yes we do have a replay saved. Is it with the copperhead though? Oh, it is. Okay, never mind. Yeah, sorry, I had a brain freeze there a little bit. At least in terms of my thought process, my brain just literally froze. Yeah, apologies for that. But anyways, there we go. The GT All-Stars is now complete. And we only have one event left in the special events, and that is the GT 500 Championship. Oh, I did not mean to go over there. here we are. And now we can check out our 5 new prize cars. So from race 1 we win a Mines Lancia Evo 5. Very nice. From race 1. From race 2 we win a Mines R34 Skyline GTR. And that is a lot of power on that thing. 618. That is impressive. Must be said. That's an impressive amount of horsepower. From race 3 we win a TVR Speed 12. And also, fucking hell, this thing is wide. This thing is definitely wide. And that is one big ass. Meanwhile, from race 4 we win a Tommy Kyra ZZ2. Very nice looking thing this is. And from race 5 we win a Nissan R390 GT1 road car. And this thing looks nice. Don't tap me, I like this thing. But yeah, those are the prize cars that we win from the GT All-Stars. And as a result, my win ratio is now just underneath 81%, and we are now officially 53.88% complete with this game. And holy shit, we now have 88 cars in our garage. Christ almighty, that is a lot. I have so many cars. But anyways. So, next up is the GT 500 Championship, for what is also our final special event in the game. And so, with that, stay tuned for more GT2.